If I thought choosing my top 5 favorite characters of 2025 like I did last week was hard, choosing my top 5 favorite couples, that was an interesting challenge because I realized there was a lot of couples I really enjoyed, and then I got suggestions for the game and I'm like, there's so many amazing couples I read about in 2025. Hello friends, happy Wednesday. So very excited that you're here. I can't believe this is the last Friday we'll be wrapping up the best of 2025 where I've talked about my favorite Yen Press debuts and 7 Seas debuts, and then last week we talked about my top 5 favorite characters of 2025. Really have enjoyed people sharing who their top 5 favorite characters were with the graphic that I used. Don't worry, we'll have another game featuring couples and I'll leave the link down below and I'll share it at the end in case if you would like to join in the fun. There were so many amazing couples last year. I mean, not just heroines and heroes individually, but when they come together, and hopefully, because some of the couples on there technically aren't a couple yet, but y'all, there's not too much deluludness with them. Like, you'll see when it comes. But all of the characters the couples I'm featuring are officially romantically together, and we'll go ahead and dive in because to nobody's surprise, for number 1, Momo and Ichikura from Glass with a Chance of Delinquent. I love them. They're my all-time favorite shoujo faves. I adore these characters so very deeply. I talk about them all the time. I get so excited about them. But in case if you haven't heard me yap about them, just a brief overview. It is about Momo. She doesn't like delinquents. She was bullied and harassed in middle school, and she decides that when she goes to high school, she's sort of going to do, not a glow up, but she's going to dye her hair, wear contacts, and sort of change how she looks and just hopefully have a much better experience in high school. Things are going great. Things are going smoothly. She hasn't come across any delinquents, but she has to join a club. And so she decides to join the Helpers Club, and Ichikura here runs that. Well, things are great. She's like, okay, he's sort of nerdy and all these things. We're cool. But then something happens. There is a confrontation, and that's when she realizes that he used to be a delinquent, and that when he takes the glasses off, basically his inner delinquent comes through. Yeah, she's like, I'm a little bit scared, but to her surprise, she actually ends up falling in love with him, and so unfolds this delinquent romance. I have gushed so much about it, and I just want to say this video here where I talked about the latest chapter on K-manga, I gushed about it in that manga news video. I really feel like that captures my thoughts and feelings in a nutshell. I feel on the series as it is now. I really love seeing these two grow together. Both of them have overcome, I think overcome would be the right word. It's pretty early in the morning for me right now. We have a remote learning day, so I'm trying to film early, but I feel like at the beginning, Momo's afraid of delinquents, and yet she's falling in love with a delinquent. Ichikura wants to be cool, and yet he's doing things that he feels makes him look uncool. Both of these are massive hurdles for them at a variety of points, and even though Momo, you could say, overcomes hers fairly quickly, because, I mean, if she's dating a delinquent, you have to overcome that fear, you know what I mean? The way that different fights happen later on, and there has to be decisions made of, should they stay together? Should they separate? Should Momo learn how to fight? And these questions are being asked, and I really love how both of them come to a decision together and individually. So I love how they've overcome those personal hurdles that they've thought about themselves or thought about other people, and be able to grow together in this romance. It's very fun. I was gonna say very beautiful. It is very beautiful to me. I mean, I've read this series 6+ times, so it's very precious and important to me. Makes my day better. I truly just love being a reader on this adventure with these characters, and I'm so invested, and I truly hope that this is a manga that goes for like 20 volumes. I don't know how we could get there, but I would be all for going through high school. Heck, let's go to college. We could go past college. Like, I am ultimately just here for that because these characters are special and fun, and the side cast of characters that interact with our leads are really fantastic. But Momo and Ichikura, they have my heart, and I just don't see another shoujo series specifically ever capturing my heart the same way these leads have. I love them so very much, and I cannot wait to see what adventures are in store for them. The manga like the English volumes that we have are fantastic, but it only gets better. And I can't wait for other readers who are just physical only to see where we are on K-manga of how just wonderful the romance is getting and how these characters are growing. They're precious little beings. I love it so much, and I cannot recommend it enough. For number 2, I was really thinking hard. Now, I feel very certain that these two are in my top 5 favorite couples, okay? And that is, oh gosh, I forgot the guy's name for a second. Okay, that is Francesca and Leonardo. From reincarnated in a mafia dating sim, the Yakuza heiress becomes the top-ranked villain's romantic target. This is only 2 volumes right now, but we got a 3rd volume coming out next month, and I'm very, very excited. If you saw my video of doing my reading bracket, you know I was having a little bit of a meltdown. Maybe it didn't come across that way. I was able to edit a lot of the thinking that I did, but I really earnestly thought that this would be my favorite read of 2025. It's in my top 3 for sure, so it's up there. It was so wonderful. It's about our main female lead, Francesca, who originally, she starts out, she's the granddaughter of a Yakuza boss, and she wants to have friends. She wants to have a peaceful life. Something happens, and she ends up passing away and getting reincarnated into this mafia dating sim. Her dream, her wish is still the same, to have friends, have a peaceful life, but of course, that's like the furthest thing happening, and she knows the first thing she needs to do to try and achieve that dream, make it a reality, is she needs to break up with her fiance, Leonardo. But when she goes to him and says, hey, let's call this off, he's like, you know, no. I don't want to call it off. You're pretty cute with how you're acting. Let's just keep making this work. And she's like, oh, but I really like, we're gonna be breaking up, okay? That's pretty much the course of this manga, of her using the information she has when she played the game in her past life, how she's changed things, but ultimately Leonardo has not changed, and he's like the ultimate baddie boss kind of thing. I really enjoy these two as an unofficial couple. Like, she doesn't necessarily have romantic feelings for him the same way he does for her, and one of the things I do like is he's pretty scary. He has some pretty intimidating aura at times. And it's like, you know, maybe you should try and seriously call off this engagement. But he is smitten with her, and she does not believe him. We really see this in volume 2, of where he's like, you were the most beautiful girl, you're so gorgeous, and all these things. She's like, oh yeah, that's cute, thanks. I know you're just saying that. And like, the reader, I feel, knows he's being dead serious, and she just does not see it. But I think she cares for him a lot more than she realizes, because when I was flipping through volume 1, there's a scene where something's going down, and she more or less protects him. And he's like, why did you do that? You did not have to do what you just did. Yes, I love her reasoning. I'm not going to say what it is, it's going to be spoilers. I love her reasoning, but it's like, girl, I think there's more to it than just what you just told him. At least that's me. Hopefully not me being too delulu. But I really enjoyed the banter that's between them, and how he's so supportive of her. Like, yes, he's dangerous, but when they have these just few romantic shenanigans together, oh my goodness. And then the short stories at the end, oh, they are perfect. They're some of the best ones I've read. I love them. And the translator, I believe she's a translator, she has just done such a phenomenal job. I gushed about it in this first impression video, and that's not something I really focus on when I'm reading, but just, I don't know, her work just really stands out to me. But yes, moving on. I just enjoy, I think, the shenanigans that these two bring, and how Francesca's wanting one thing, Leonardo's wanting another thing, and somehow they're unintentionally making it work, and it becomes a very compelling story to read. I'm very much shipping them, and technically they're in a relationship since they are engaged. I'm like, Francesca, you cannot break off this engagement, girl. I need you to ultimately fall for him. And I was reading the blurb because I was making the shoujosei release calendar, which comes out this Friday. I was reading the blurb for volume 3, and I'm like, I said, spoiled myself with the blurb. I mean, I'm going to be reading it, but typically I don't read the blurbs for the next volume, just so it's sort of, I don't know, a surprise. But the surprise I got was not what I was expecting, so I'm hoping that the romantic shenanigans increase twofold and that Francesca's heart changes, because I want her to see how sincere that, even if Leonardo seems sort of scary, and he is, and he's intimidating, that when he says, hey, that you are really beautiful, that he truly genuinely means it. Like, he wants to genuinely stay with Francesca, and I want Francesca to be like, I want to stay with him too, that she realizes she cares for him more than what she does. Because how many dudes is she going to come across? Well, she's in a mafia dating sim, so she actually might come across a lot. I was going to say though, how many characters, guys, is she going to meet that when she has to go to I think it was like a ball or a party in volume 2, that she cannot bring any weapons? So they get in the carriage, and she's like, let me have one of your weapons. So he's like, I don't have any. She's like, no, you do, and here's how I know. And he's like, okay, here you go, kind of thing. I don't know, there's these quirky moments that I feel are not typical of what I read, say, when it comes to Glass with a Chance of Delinquent or some other contemporary romance series, that I find very fun of those parts of their, or aspects of their relationship, and I really, really want more. I mean, definitely one of my most anticipated reads for upcoming volumes to see where it goes. I love it so much. It's just fun and enjoyable couple, and I never know what to expect, and I know there's a dangerous edge, but you know, hopefully the romance will just continue to unfold and bloom and be very, very exciting. For number 3, this series I knew I had to feature. When I asked for suggestions of what characters I should have in my game last week, there were people who suggested these characters, and I said, I'm sorry, no, it's going on the couples game, because this couple captivated my heart when I read it, and that is Zen and Risa from Love That's an Understatement. I love this so much. I read volumes 1 through 6, so I've had the digital volumes. I think I had to buy 2 though after I read it, and it was everything I was hoping to be. Now, volume 1 was everything. This is a delinquent romance. It's about Risa here, who is so sweet. She is a young woman who is always prepared, any and all the time. And when she's walking to cram school, or walking home from cram school, or going to school, something along that, she's walking, she comes across Zen, who has been beat up, and he looks really bad, and nobody's wanting to talk to him. It's raining, and so she comes up to him very bravely and is like, hey, here's an umbrella, here's the number to a local urgent care around here, and go get yourself looked at. I think she was going to offer him bandages, and so she ends up saving, I wouldn't say his life, but they did say that because of what she did, that his eye is okay. He didn't lose his eye, and he's like, hey, I want to get to know you. And she's like, no, just doing a kind gesture for you here. And he is just not taking no for an answer. So I guess you would say this is sort of a young woman who's very straight-laced and a young man who's very free-spirited, and them coming together, though he's also a delinquent, which is part of the charm of this series. It was so wonderful. I mean, I remember gushing so much about volume 1. This is my first delinquent romance that really got me interested into delinquent romance. If it wasn't for this, I may have never discovered Glasses and my love for delinquent romances in general. But I remember when I first read volume 1, I only read that one because I said I'm not going to read any more digitally, because I know I'm going to get invested, I know I'm going to get hooked, and I'm going to want to buy the rest of the series. But as years sort of went on, because yes, years, I just slowly kept buying the digital volumes when I saw sales, and then when we got the physical announcement, I was overjoyed. Being back with these characters physically truly is everything. Yes, the quality could be better. Yes, we could have got a normal run announcement, license announcement for it, but I'm just thankful to have it in print, because this, seeing Risa, I mean, the only word I can think of is just very straight-laced. Like, she's very articulate, she is very studious, and doesn't goof around or play too much, but that is one of the very beautiful things, is the more she's around Zen, the more she sort of lightens up, I guess you would say, and she starts experiencing things outside of her normal everyday routine. And I really love those moments. Like, it's nothing bad, but when she could be studying at a certain time, Zen's like, hey, you want to go ride on my bike with me, or my motorcycle, I should say. She chooses to do so. It just opens up her whole world. Like, Zen was such a huge catalyst, and I really loved seeing her shine in a very different way, because she seemed happy, I guess, in the beginning, but now she seems so much happier, and she's being brave in things that she thought she could never do. She's actually doing. It was really awesome. And while Zen grows as a character, like, I don't know, I feel like this is very much Risa's story and her growing, her shining. Zen just encouraging her, respecting her, and the things that he puts up with, because he does feel like he's not friend zoned. I can't think of what the word is this morning, but his friends roast him a little bit about it, I would just say, or joke about it. And he is just so supportive. Like, he reminds her that if other people are laughing at you, I'll be right there supporting you 100%. Like, I'm in your corner, and it's just very beautiful and fun to see. And even when I was sort of afraid that there would be like a love triangle, the way that that was done just was so touching and emotional, and I never expected that. I'd be like, wow, this was really, really good. Granted, that goes into other side characters, but there really is something special about Risa and Zen that I can't get enough of. I really enjoy their relationship and seeing them both grow, seeing all of the blushy moments. It's very heartfelt and beautiful, and I'm very excited to dive into this volume 3. I did mention it in my short earlier this week that with LoveCom, which I have not finished, finished. It's been a much busier week with the ice storm and then having remote learning days than I expected, but I eagerly look forward to coming back. And I think I even said in that video that I'll probably reread volumes 1 and 2 because it's just a series that I can't get enough of. I mean, it's sort of like Last with a Chance of Living when I can't just read one volume. I gotta go back and reread more of my faves because of how much joy these characters have brought me. And I just never imagined how Risa would truly, you could see the transformation of her loosening up, which maybe would sound like a bad thing, but just when you see how happier she is now, I really, really love it and find it very special and wonderful. And again, just very thankful that we have this series in print. It's definitely another series I would recommend. If you enjoy delinquent romance, give this a shot. I feel like the stakes are pretty low. I mean, we do have a few moments where it's like, oh my goodness, this is a little bit intense compared to other scenes, but overall, it's just a beautiful, heartfelt romance that I've really enjoyed and thankful that I finally caved, like go past me and binge read all of the volumes. I even read them twice at that time because I was really sick and I was having issues with my iron, so I wasn't really remembering things, and even now I still can't fully remember all of that I read from them. I know I love them, and when I go through my reviews, I'm like, oh yeah, now I can remember, but coming back to that and sort of being able to read it for the first time all over again, it's a special thing. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this series as well. For number 4, I am saying a digital manga series that is on K-Manga, and maybe it's gonna sound weird because I haven't actively talked about it, but let me tell you, I fell into a situation with a vampire account. Oh my goodness, this manga is everything. It was so wonderful. I don't remember what happened or how I came across it, but I ended up binge reading it last year. I loved every moment of it. It is about well, except for maybe the beginning, honestly, because when I tell you what it's about, you're like, Lara. But it is about I think she is the daughter of a viscount, and her name is Freya. She's been engaged to this man. She ends up finding out when she goes to her sister's room, lo and behold, who should be there? Her fiance with her sister. And so her family, and we find out as well that her fiance has physically abused her. Parents are like, hey, you need to just stay with him. You're the problem. You need to change. And she's been changing up to this point in negative ways, okay? Just for people pleasing, not for herself. So it's sort of the final last straw when Freya sees her fiance with her sister that there is a rumor where she lives that if you go to the count, who's a vampire, that he will take you in if you're a virgin. And so she decides to go to him. She's like, hey, I want you to take me in, basically. And he's like, well, what do you have to offer? She's like, I have virgin blood that I can give you. And he bursts out laughing. And we find out very quickly within the first, I think it's like the first chapter, the second chapter, he's not actually a vampire, that he is one that likes to play a lot of pranks, a lot of jokes, and he decides to take her in, only though if she will play along that he is a vampire count. This series, between Freya and Lord Oscar, I love the romantic developments. I mean, I love for Freya, seeing her be free from her family was everything. How Lord Oscar and his servants help her to be free from that is very, very hilarious, very fun, very enjoyable. It has a lot of sweet moments between them, but I will tell you right now, when you get to, was it chapter 25? They're like leading up to that chapter, there is some steam, okay? We have very wholesome, very sweet and precious moments, and it's like, ooh, you fan in your face kind of thing. So just as an FYI, how they grow together is so wonderful. I mean, they have these wonderful shenanigans where they act like they're their people, they're pretending to be vampires, they're pretending, well, like that Oscar is, and that Freya has basically come under his control. I love how when, I almost said spoiler, but when things are continuing to increasingly get very romantic, it's very wonderful that they do this really big charade shenanigan, and it's just very fun. That, I mean, there's healing for Freya and there's freedom for her. Lord Oscar backing her up every single step of the way and truly helping her to grow more self-confident in herself, that she is special, that she is beautiful, and that he might have said these things to genuinely help her, but he fell for her very hard. And so I love how he respects her boundaries, even when she's wanting to get close, but she's sort of nervous. I mean, man was respecting hard, but when they are finally really together, I mean, he lets go, and it's very beautiful for both of them, and seeing their relationship just shine. It's a very, very fun relationship ultimately that I just enjoyed being on every single step of the way for so many different reasons. It's one I would love to see physically get printed. I think a lot of people would enjoy those vampire shenanigans and seeing what Freya and Lord Oster are gonna do, because Freya definitely gives some ideas that are really funny and really exciting that make it all the more enjoyable between both of them. Also, just all of it coming together, it really shines. So it's a fun, very fun series with a very fun couple that does have some serious moments. Like where it ended, I was like, I'm a little nervous because it seemed like the arc was wrapping up, but then we see a certain character and it's like, no, I don't think it's wrapping up quite the way that we had expected. So lots of funny humor and shenanigans. I really think if you want a playful romantic relationship or playful romantic leads, this is one I would definitely suggest. It is so good. For number 5, listen, I feel really bad because I have been featuring shoujo basically all month long, but when it came down to 2 different series, and I love the other one, which was Choking on Love. I love the couple in that a lot. But when I thought of in my top 5 favorites, listen, I'm going with, I think it's a seinen. It's either a seinen or a shonen, but it's not a shoujo, and that is The Noble Student and His Cinderella. Oh my goodness, this is on K-manga as well. I have been wanting to read it. I saw the art and I really liked it, and then there was just one day where K-manga's like, hey, read this chapter and get free 5 points. Well, that led to me reading almost all of the chapters that night. I think I went up to basically where I used all my tickets, and then the next day when I got more tickets, I was back to reading, and I read it and then I reread it. It was so wonderful. It's about our female lead. Her name is Fuki. I had to check because I accidentally called her Yuki before, but now I will say too, this is an age gap manga set in the Taisho era. When she was younger, she was not a head servant, but she was the one that watched like the Lord's son, Yugo. I forget what their status is. I mean, they're pretty up there, but she watched him, and then one day he decides to go off to university, and where the story opens up is he's coming back from university. Now he's like 17, 18 or something like that now. He's looking for a wife, and his eyes are on Fuki, and she's very surprised, and so it's their romantic love story, and it was so beautiful. Writing so good, the art style is so very beautiful, and I really just love how at the beginning, yes, they get married, but they're not necessarily in a romantic relationship, okay? Because Fuki's very nervous. She's really struggling with that mindset of where she's like, I was a servant and now I'm his wife, and there's that struggle there of her transitioning into that, and poor Yugo wrestling with that because he wants her as a wife. Like, he genuinely loves this woman, and we find out backstory of how long he's loved her, why he's loved her, and all of these things. And so really what made this story so beautiful is seeing Fuki genuinely start to care for him as a husband, and things that they had to, wouldn't say overcome, but things that they were thinking where maybe the other person wasn't feeling the same way. And so I wouldn't say it's like there's a whole bunch of misunderstandings, but man, the breakthroughs that happen, like once they see each other as husband and wife and they're acting as husband and wife, that in my opinion, where is this story shines. I love the romantic development between them. It was so heartfelt, and like especially too when they go sort of on a honeymoon, everything that comes out from that, the way Yugo is so supportive and the way Fuki is as well is beautiful. I mean, the love that they have for each other just absolutely shines on page, and I just couldn't put Choking in Love above this one just because of even though I've read both of them twice, but I don't know, there was just something that hit with Fuki and Yugo's relationship that really touched my heart, that now I'm reading weekly, okay, that I get very excited when we have a new chapter because there's so much heart and passion between them, and the way that they genuinely hear each other out when there's some kind of issue or concern or they're struggling with something. I mean, we see during that honeymoon arc that Yugo is struggling for a certain reason, but when they openly come out and have this communication, it is beautiful. Genuinely love being with these characters so much. I'm very excited and hopeful that we will get this physically in English. There is so much heart between them as a married couple and leading up to where they're living as a married couple. Highly recommended. I love them deeply, and I see so much of myself in Fuki that, I don't know, I just resonated a lot with her feelings, her mannerisms, the way she does things. It was very relatable to me, and I do feel like this couple is special to me in the sense of how much I saw myself in her, which definitely influences with biases. But I did in Choking on Love as well with the female lead. I'm forgetting her name right now. I definitely related to her a lot as well. But man, Fuki and Yugo, they are a very special couple, and I'm deeply thankful I gave them a chance. I am, again, just so hopeful for a physical release so that people can read more of their story. And while you're not going to find this on my game graphic this week, here it is of a whole bunch of different couples. I would love to know, do you see any of your favorite couples on here? Did I feature any of your favorite couples? Yeah, just let me know. These were just from stories I read last year, not necessarily like new debuts or anything. Yeah, just let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!